How we doing there, boys and girls? Manthieus here, and welcome back to another video. So a little bit of an update came up yesterday with the new patch. We unfortunately had longer downtime than would have been desirable, let's put it that way. But with it came a little bit of a change to some of the crafting for those of us that are trying to level up our trade skills. The big thing is the drop rates on the refining materials have been massively buffed. Not only are these refining materials now dropping at a higher quantity from each of the storage chests, you're also more likely to find more than one single type in the chests. It would often be that you'd get some sandpaper in one chest, some flux in another, but now I've had multiple occasions where I'm not only getting one but two, sometimes even three or more of the crafting reagents in each supply chest. What's this going to do though? Well, this is going to massively help us reduce the crafting cost of some of those of leveling up our refining. I've been working on quite heavily for the last couple of days getting my gathering skills in order. We've got logging to 200, mining is not far behind. I've recently been doing some harvesting, and at the same time I've been trying to level up the refining, as it does have a massive benefit to when we move into the crafting a little bit more aggressively. I've got my crafting skills up to a reasonable point at this moment, but I definitely want to start focusing on a couple of these crafting professions. But to do it in an optimal way, you need to kind of have your gathering and refining in place first. One thing that so many people are sleeping on is the fact that if you level up your refining to a certain point, the proc chance is a huge benefit to you. If we look at the loom real quickly, I've been doing some gathering, my bags are full of fibers. This chance to craft additional items is huge, but is obviously only going to be of benefit to you the higher your refining skills are. And the bottleneck for many people was the refining materials. It was not getting hold of the raw materials in the first place, it was merely the cost of these crossweave, these silk weave, these wire weaves in the first place. This drop change should hopefully reflect that people, this will hopefully, it will still be the bottleneck. I'm going to put it out there, the bottleneck will still be these refining materials. You're never going to be able to come across enough of them, but the way that most of us look at playing MMOs is we see things like common, we see things uncommon, we see things titled as rare. In reality, they're not though. They're equally available. The rarity is more defined by quite simply the content that we're able to do right now. We're all leveling. We're leveling our way to 60, and that kind of means we are just physically gated from certain zones, and it's the higher end zones that drop these higher end materials. But once you get into those zones, these start flying at you like candy. Every supply chest in the higher end zones is going to be dropping firstly the silk weave in the mid tier zones, and then eventually in the end game zones it's going to be dropping the wire weave, just in the same sort of quantities. So the rarity is a bit of an illusion, but you can use this to your advantage, right? And I wanted to show you something that can massively improve or increase the amount of materials that you obtain and make leveling up things much quicker. For example, let's just turn all our fibers real quickly into linen, because there's no real fancy stuff we can do with this. Let's get these in order. Doesn't move our little dial barely an inch. When we look at things like sateen though, this is where we get the choice. We get to choice, well, do we use crossweave? Do we use silk weave? Do we use wire weave? Now, not many people have fully understood the implications of using these. You can see by default I have a 14% chance to craft additional items. This is the base level. Sateen is a tier 3 material, so if I use the crossweave, which is also a tier 3 reagent, it doesn't go anywhere. You don't get a bonus, you don't get a reduction, it just stays exactly the way that it is. But this is where you can do some maths, and the goblins out there, the maths guys, the economy guys, the ones that are good with this sort of stuff, have very quickly worked out that, well, if you can buy your silk weave at a price similar to that of what crossweave is, which is very plausible, you can then get a huge 50% increase in the amount of materials that you obtain from the exact same base materials. So you go out and you do a whole bunch of gathering, you go harvest yourself up some fibers, you very quickly then can turn, instead of making, I don't know, 176, you'll probably make 14% more than that. So quick maths, about 25 additional ones. Yet if you were to use a higher quality refining reagent, you are getting huge amounts more, which of course this snowballs, and this snowballs further because of course every base material goes into the next one, and then into the next one, and then into the next one. So this all helps to keep the per item cost as low as possible. So using these higher quality reagents is key. Now, in the next couple of days, make sure you stick around, make sure you stay subscribed, because in the next couple of days, I'm going to release a little calculator on how to work out, well, what is the best one to use. Because it's not necessarily straightforward, right? Because it depends on how much it costs you to buy each of these, how much of a bonus that they give you. You can kind of eyeball it, but sometimes it gets very close. So I've been working on a little calculator. It's not complete. It's like what we love on this channel. It's a spreadsheet. But the spreadsheet does all the hard work for you, like spreadsheets are meant to. So make sure you stick around. I'll have that out to you in a few days. I'll probably put it on my Discord once I've got it finished, and then of course I'll advertise it a little bit more publicly on the channel here. But just be aware, the drop chance of these being increased massively is going to make your refining much, much, much cheaper to get on board with. So don't be doing what many are doing. Don't be trying to level up your profession solely using iron or solely using coarse leather. To avoid having to buy the crafting reagents. We can already see the crafting reagents are coming down in price pretty much. If we search for flux real quick. Sand flux, yeah, it's been 2 gold a piece pretty consistently on my realm, at least in this city for a while, and already people are starting to work out, well, hang on, there's huge amounts more of these available. All of a sudden, it's quite simple, the drop rate has been increased. If it's been increased for you, it's been increased for everybody. If there's 2,000 players on your realm with an increased drop chance of this, there's almost no reason for the price not to go down. Be careful if you have buy orders in place for this. If your buy orders are reasonably high because you are trying to be competitive, be aware that your buy orders might get fulfilled 100% very quickly, and you might end up, you know, the price ending up being even less than what your buy order was. So if you've got a long-standing buy order for some of these, maybe have a little bit of a look of that and check that it's exactly as you'd like it to be. But boys and girls, I will leave it there for this video. Make sure that you're aware of these little changes that come through. Good luck with your leveling up of your trade professions. I'm getting there slowly and surely. We will have 200 across the board before too long, I assure you. And I'll try my best to let you guys know how the most effective way is of doing that. But if you enjoy the videos, make sure you hit the like button, subscribe if you're new around here, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.